goes, I feel the love. So, a few weeks ago, we were filming on set, and Jamie, apropos of nothing at all, turns to us and says, I have a joke. And he's not the most intentionally funny guy, so of course he's got our attention. He says, this guy goes to the doctor for a routine physical. The doctor looks him over and says, dude, you've got to stop masturbating. The guy says, why? The doctor says, because I'm trying to give you a physical. My name is Adam Savage. I host a show on Discovery called Mythbusters. I want to start by saying we're not going to blow anything up on stage. And despite the best efforts of 25,000 of you on Facebook, we are not going to go try and fix the Gulf oil spill. Nor would you want us to try. The idea of setting off nukes underwater has already been proposed, and we can't think any bigger than that. Also, if there's any children in the audience, I'm gonna curse. I'm gonna talk about some things. Look, you should just know that adults talk about shit that'll make you feel weird until you're old enough to try it. I wanted to tell you give you a little bit of extra insight into Jamie Hyneman, my partner on the show. You might not realize actually what a great actor Jamie is. He is maybe one of the best method actors I have ever seen. And I want to give you an example. We did this thing where he bought a motor, this really powerful motor for an episode we were doing about Batman, like a grappling hook that would lift him up into the air. And he found this company himself, and we wanted to film him calling them up on the phone. So we said, Jamie, you're going to go into your office, you're going to pretend to have a phone call with them. And Jamie goes, okay. So he sets up on the phone, and they say, okay, go. So he picks up the phone, and he looks up a fake number, and he dials it. And he says, hello? Yes, this is Jamie Hyneman from Mythbusters. I wanted to talk to someone about the really powerful motors that you have. Yes, I'll hold. Yes, hi, I wanted to ask you about that. It's like he's pure intention. And then there's the ways he's unintentionally funny, which is, you know, we have this rule on the show that if Jamie laughs, it makes the final cut, because it's so rare. But the most unintentionally funny he's been won't make it on screen, and I'm going to tell you about it. I read all the blogs, the Reddits, the Digs, the Perez Hilton, I love all that shit. And I had read this interview with Billy Bob Thornton, before the interview where he was such an asshole. The interview with him where he said, yeah, this fame thing is not all it's cracked up to be. You could be married to the most beautiful woman in the world, and having sex with her could be like fucking the couch. And, you know, the whole internet went, oh, he's saying Angelina's bad in bed, and so I came into work and duly reported this to my crew, and everyone, you know, clutched their fake pearls. And over in the side is Jamie, who's, when I'm telling this story, Jamie tends to go back and sort of watch from a distance and sort of wait it out with his eyes rolling. And so he waits, everyone kind of talks about it for a second, and there's this sort of lapse in the conversation. And Jamie says, if my couch looked like Angelina Jolie, I'd fuck it. He's like, what? What? So, maybe he's going to come out with a line of couches. I don't know. My name is Adam Savage, and I'm a geek. You say, hi, Adam. My name is Adam Savage, and I'm a geek. Yes, I do want to make an admission to you that I married outside the Klan. I met her online, though. Okay, I met her on, she was on the Salon Network, but I was on Nerve. I was where it was at back in the early 2000s. But there are some differences, like we're driving to work the other day and I see this guy riding up alongside our car on a recumbent bicycle. And now I've loved recumbent bicycles ever since Christopher Walken rode to work on one in the movie Brainstorm. Remember Brainstorm? And I've always wanted one, so every time I see one, I have this little like, oh, look at that, that is so cool. And my wife goes, check out the Please Don't Sleep With Me idiot on the fucked up bike. Yeah. I had this dream a few weeks ago that I woke up in the middle of the night having just had this dream that I was at a conference, and the I wasn't supposed to speak at the conference, but the conference organizer came to me at the last minute and said, we need you to come up with a talk. Do you have a talk? We need you to talk right away. And I said, why, sure, I could talk about, well, wearing costumes. And he said, excellent. And so I spoke this talk in the dream about wearing costumes. And then I finished the talk, and I thought it went over really well, and I woke up with this talk fully fleshed in my head. And I kind of debated whether or not to write it down. This is all true, it's absolutely true. It's not to lead into a joke. I thought about writing it down, and then I have actually spent several phases in my life keeping track of my dreams, writing them down. And one of the great gifts to keeping track of dreams is a laptop computer with the screen off and the ability to touch type, because you can keep the whole thing in your head. So after about half an hour of sort of thinking through this talk, and there were these two concepts in it that really kind of rocked my world, because I hadn't realized them as articulately as they are spoken in the dream. So I woke up, I didn't quite wake up, I touch typed this whole thing for about 45 minutes, about 4 or 5 pages worth of material. And then I closed the laptop and I went back to sleep. Now, I didn't crack the laptop for another week or so. I kept on thinking about these concepts. When I finally cracked the laptop and actually read the dream, it was terrible. The talk was super self-indulgent and not that great. But there were these two concepts in it, and I wanted to go over them. One was that being a geek, being a nerd, having played with Legos right up until I discovered girls at 16 or 17, was, you know, it's a lonely childhood. I mean, one of the prevailing things about the childhood is that it's prevailing thing about life, but you know, is that it's lonely. And in my loneliness, I kind of, and it was the 70s, it was like the ice storm over there in Westchester County. Well, except without the wife swapping, just the ignoring the kids thing. So in the loneliness, at like, now I have 11-year-old kids, so I kind of am remembering my own childhood through watching them. About the age of 9 is when I actually started to have crushes on girls, like super important crushes on girls. And I realized, and I said this in the talk in the dream, that I had concocted this fantasy that someone would rescue me from my loneliness, that a woman, that a girl, a love object would come and rescue me from my loneliness. And quite honestly, to all of the girlfriends I have ever had since then, I'm sorry for saddling them with this terrible responsibility. But there was this fantasy that there would be some kind of transformation, some kind of butterfly moment. Now I'm 42, I know that it's not a transformative moment, it's hard work. It's not hard work, it's hard work that transforms you, not a singular moment. You do it, you build it, you earn it. But that transformation desire is still something that's really powerful. It's powerful in our culture, it's definitely powerful in me. And one of the ways it's become powerful in me is in costumes. I love wearing costumes. So, oh wait, can I have a clicker? Ah, thank you, thing.